My name is Michael Donley, and my wife, Carmela. The house that we occupied, because we did the research, they were going through foreclosure. Okay, so someone owns a house going through foreclosure, and someone who has a housing voucher, their voucher is being foreclosed on because they put a T in front of your number, which means termination status. And you go into this pool of people that are going to be terminated. Just like a person that's being foreclosed, they put you into this pool of people who are going to eventually be foreclosed once we finish the process. So at the end of 4.5 years, December 19th, 2011, she was given a final administrative hearing. Went there, pleaded the same story she did countless of times. They said, we'll give you a response a month later. So just about a year ago from today, it'll be like January 19th, she got a packet in the mail. And out of this 20 pages, there's only a few sentences that matter. We don't see how you exactly owe us, but you owe us anyway. And we don't believe you will ever pay us back this money, so we're terminating your voucher February 1st. So, or at the end of February, however it went, before the winter ends, you, I, our two teenage children who were in high school, and our daughter had just had a grandbaby back in November, will all be homeless without any recourse. There's no recourse. Okay, so we already got enough Chicago Public Schools students that are homeless. We got more homes vacant, and we got more homeless people than actually, we got more vacant homes than homeless people. Everybody could be in a home of some type. So what happened was, out of this 4.5 years, we really didn't know what to do. We didn't know who to turn to, who to talk to. We went to a couple of organizations and, seeing, who we could talk to, but nothing really panned out. But we had tried one other organization, a grassroots organization in our neighborhood called Communities United Against Foreclosure and Eviction. Kind of makes sense, right? So they had a meeting back last year in February, and we attended that meeting because one of our colleagues had told Carmela, what do you think about occupying a home? And this is something that actually goes on across America. Some people call it squatting, and it would be squatting if you were doing it differently, but this is called occupying. You're moving into a home to make it your own. So, at this point, it's like, hey, why not, right? I mean, if we're all going to be homeless, children need to go to school. I mean, you need an address to even try to get a job, or, it just makes sense. So at that meeting, they talked about, various procedures you would go through to occupy a vacant home in your community or elsewhere. And so they told us the process about how you can go about and find a bank-owned property or property owned by an investor. You don't want to move into a home necessarily owned by someone, but that does happen. It's a little different process with that. But so we decided to do that. It was kind of a no-brainer. Time was of the essence. We didn't have a choice. So that Sunday, Carmela was looking on the computer and said, hey, here's a property not that far from us, actually. Less than a half a mile away. It's been vacant since 2008. We found it on Bank of, you fill in the blank website. But actually, come to find out, it was owned by Bank of New York, you fill in the blank. And so we went to this property back in February, around 23rd. Took a look at the property. And kind of wondered why would this house, here in Rogers Park, be vacant. And so we did a canvas like a week later or so. It was only about 7 homes on that block. 3 on one side and 7 on the side where the house was on Birchwood. So we talked to a few of the neighbors. Found out a couple had been there recently as 2010. They had bought their homes from people who had been foreclosed. And, may have talked to a couple other people on the other side of the block. But what we did find out was that the home had been somewhat vandalized and had suffered water damage. And so people had been talking to the alderman, which is Joe Moore, about maybe demolishing the home or things of that nature because nobody wanted it. It was what they call in real estate, if you're looking for something to get into, a don't wanter. Well, we wanted it. So we gained entry. I won't say how, but we gained entry into the home, looked around. It was definitely some water damage, but it was nothing that couldn't be repaired. It was nothing that couldn't be salvaged, So we decided to prepare the home for moving in. So at the time, we had a little bit of money, which basically was like $1,000. The rest of the money was from volunteers and people donated, and we had some volunteers, people with our organization, and others that came through, helped us clean out the place. We rented a dumpster and paid like $400 for that, and we cleaned the place out and got rid of a lot of the molded wall, and the floor was busted up downstairs, and the living room and dining room area was trashed. And we cleaned that out, and we went down into the basement and cleared a lot of the debris there, but we weren't able to get everything out, unfortunately, because we weren't able to get that done. But we made it livable, so we moved in. And, it was cold in the house. We didn't have heat. We did get the gas switched over in our name, so there was still a stove and refrigerator there. We brought our own. We moved everything that we had there. Maybe it wasn't the best idea, but like I said, we were under duress, so we had to do what we had to do. There was also lights on, so we switched the lights on in our name. So I am giving you a little bit of the procedures, what you would do. We weren't squatting where we just going in and just live off of whatever was there. So we were there for roughly 60 days. Around October 29th, I'd say like the 26th, a gentleman came around the property to change the locks. And I confronted him, not in a mean way, but I did startle him when he opened the door. And, he was nice, and I was nice to him. And he just said, well, I can't change the locks, so I guess you'll be seeing the sheriff. I said, well, that kind of makes sense, according to what we were told, that we'd be seeing the sheriff. Well, that following Monday morning, another gentleman came, and I use this term loosely with him because of what he did, but he was eyeing the house from across the street for several minutes. So we opened up the front door, and he immediately came from across the street and said, do you have legal papers for this house? I said, well, my wife said, well, we have people looking into that right now. I wasn't going to tell him that we do have something that we don't, but I wasn't going to tell him everything. Well, he went back across the street, and about 10 minutes later, we had an entire tax squad attack the home. They were trying to bust down the doors, find any way to get up in here. I mean, we had like 6 detective cars, 4 or 5 police cars. I mean, we had the whole tax squad like we were cooking meth in this house. So they eventually gained entry. I didn't open the door to let them in, but they eventually gained entry. Unfortunately, though, when one of the detectives gained entry, he immediately put the gun up to my wife's head. So I had to step out and say, well, if he's going to shoot her, he's going to shoot me too. But they came in, and they pulled us outside, and they arrested us and said that this is the gentleman that owns the home. And I'm like, yeah, you're kidding me. I know he doesn't own this place. He's got one of these computers like I got right here. And he's talking about that he is, I don't know who he's representing. Actually, he has nothing to say. I didn't ask him. I don't know who he represents at the time. So we get arrested. They changed the lock. So when we get out of jail that day, they give us a light trespassing charge. So we get home that day. Well, at least I do. And the locks are changed. They put locks on the garage. We got stuff in the garage, locks in the house. So everything that we own, absolutely everything from toothbrush to everything is in this house. And they're not going to let us back in. Well, we went and stayed at a hotel just down the street from there that night. And I don't know, you get kind of agitated about a situation like this, because you thought that the sheriff would be coming and you probably go through some eviction process. So sitting there watching the hurricane around 6 in the morning, I said, well, you know what? We're going back, and because I'm like, everything we got is in there. One of our colleagues was negotiating with this guy to get our stuff back. But anyway, when we go back to the house, this gentleman is playing games. So I'm already agitated as it is. I just want you to understand that. And I'm being honest with you. So there's a kitchen window. It's still unlocked. Well, we go in, Well, it may have been a setup or whatever. The police come. They catch me in the house. We go to jail again. So this time, they give us a bill. Mine is, I believe, was $1,500 and Carmela's was $500. They're going to say that without bail, we got to go to the county jail. Well, I've been somewhat lucky, I guess. I haven't been to the county. But we end up going to the county jail. And so we spent a short amount of time there. I think I spent not the entire day there. Carmela did spend the night and get processed. We got bailed out. And so we went to the court date, we had to, we did what we had to do. What I really wanted to say was that they upped our bonds. Mine was from $1,500 to $10,000, and hers went from $500 to $5,000. And people thought we was crazy to lock up people. They thought it was crazy. Why are you going back in his house? I'm like, well, everything that we got is here. So after that, I just wanted to get a little bit of background on that. So after that, it's like, okay, who has screwed us? Who has allowed our house to be, and I say our house, to be locked up and now boarded up? And in the course of this board up, the people who are boarding it up or whoever decides to take items that are ours. Computers, cameras, clothes, you name it. They just made themselves at home with whatever meager possessions we had, and what was left was left. We just come to find it out because we had to beg the company to let us get our stuff. Well, they gave us 2 hours to get what we had. Well, we couldn't even get everything that was still left in there in 2 hours. They had to sign all kind of crazy papers, got to give people social security numbers and all of this stuff. Well, it may be legal, but it's not moral. That's all I want to say. It's not moral, So we went through that crazy process, and ever since then we have been homeless. We don't have a place to live, but we've managed to make it. So after that, I wanted to find out who was these people that had did this to us. So we found out that the name of the company was Invitation Homes. What an invitation. All right, so we wanted to know more. Okay, this company has locked us out of this home, which he had taken possession of, taking our possessions, had us go through all this crazy stuff. So in the course of investigation, that's what I did, because I had nothing else to do. You gave me 24 hours a day. I have no job. I have no home. So I got 24 hours a day to find out who you are, what you're about, and what you are doing. So what I found out was that Invitation Homes was owned by the Blackstone Group. This company's out of New York, the biggest private equity firm in the world. They own property all over the world. Well, I come to find out because I've been reading a lot about finances and things like that. So I understand that a real estate investment trust is something that people invest in, and these companies own large apartment complexes, hospitals. I actually met somebody that works for a Blackstone hospital, I think here in the Chicago area. Also, they own a lot of things, companies as such, all over the world. They own a lot of assets, basically $60 billion worth of assets. One site I saw over $200 billion. Maybe they made more money. Well, they had gotten this crazy idea from the same people that have robbed people of their homes. Goldman Sachs and the like. Goldman Sachs said, you know what? Since we've destroyed people's credit, we've taken their homes, we wiped the monopoly board clean. Let's go in and buy up these homes claim that we're doing a good because these homes have been abandoned or in distressed homes, and we'll fix them up and we'll rent them out. Because why? Well, your credit is screwed, so we just you'd probably be lucky that you can find a place to rent to live if you can afford their prices. So Goldman Sachs said, well, we believe this could be a $2.8 trillion asset class that could be created here in this country. Probably more. Who knows? We're going to own the homes. Wall Street is going to be your landlord, just like CHA was our landlord. Well, you see how well that worked out. And you'll find out that there's a lot of similarities in what I'm talking about. It really is. This is a war not only on the poor, but on the middle class. And I care about everyone, you know. Well, Blackstone targeted 9 states and maybe like 10 areas of the country, you know, several cities in California and elsewhere. So from Los Angeles to, you know, to Miami, from Chicago to Minneapolis, Blackstone has been buying homes. They roughly own about 40,000 homes right now. What I'm giving you tonight is just a small snippet of Cook County. Not Will County, not Lake County, not DuPage County. You can do that research on your own. I said, I'm going to find out about Cook County. I got enough time to at least do that. I'm by myself and I'm homeless. Okay, so, you know, so that's what I did. They really bought a lot of homes in Phoenix and Las Vegas and elsewhere. Well, you know, you can do the research on that. Here in Cook County, this study that I did covers from the purchases done by Blackstone from November about the week before Thanksgiving in 2012 to October 31st, Halloween of this year. And so in the course of my investigation, I started researching invitation homes. Well, of course, you go to Cook County Recorder of Deeds and you look up invitation homes. Well, I had enough time to go through there, look that up, and get all of that data from invitation homes. And I you know, compiled that data into a spreadsheet, counted up the homes, looked at the areas and everything. So later on, because a lot of people weren't talking about Blackstone, met a young lady, a reporter by the name of Laura Gottesdiener. She had wrote a wonderful book called A Dream Foreclosed about how African Americans once again got screwed in this housing game and a lot of our wealth was robbed once again. But also, she was on Democracy Now! Talking about Blackstone. And I said, somebody's finally talking about these people. Somebody other than little old me. So actually, she was affiliated or knew people in the group called the Anti-Eviction Campaign here in Chicago. And so another colleague of ours put together a forum at the UIC back in October. And we all got together and we talked about this issue. And I told my story there, and we talked about what Blackstone was doing and how these private equity firms, because there are many of them that are buying up these homes like crazy since they're getting them at bargain prices. Even Fannie Mae is giving them away in bulk, you know, judicial sales far under sale value. I mean, they can actually be remodifying, you know, these people's mortgages for the prices that they're giving these homes away. Seriously. And so later on, she told me about another group called THR, Treehouse Group. I said, okay, well, I looked them up. So then now I'm compiling a list of them. So now I got this process good. It took me no time to do this. I did that in a couple of weeks. So now I can compile all this data together so that I can explain it to you very briefly tonight. So Blackstone Group, 2 minutes? Man, Blackstone purchased 927 homes in Chicago. 709 are in the suburbs, 218 here in the city of Chicago. IH2 has purchased 588 of those homes. THR Group has purchased 339 of those homes. If we look at the data, they started with 79 in the first quarter, and by the third and fourth quarter, they purchased over 110 homes a month between May and October of 2013. 152 of those homes came for judicial sales, 116 from investors, 533 came from homeowners, and the rest were from banks, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. Top 5 areas for Blackstone. These are property areas. You can do the research on that. Area 357, Area 1270, Area 1953, Area 24, 110, Area 13, where Mr. Sposato resides, 140. Out of those 5 top areas, Arlington Heights, 31 homes. Elmwood Park, 28 homes. Southwest Chicago, 32 homes. Oak Lawn, 63 homes. And the northwest side of Chicago, they bought a whopping 99% of that 140 on the northwest side. So what is their end game? Is to create an IPO, an equity REIT. Well, I heard about that. Is it to sell these homes to another investor? Well, there are investors buying homes to sell to them, and they're also doing this. They're trading them amongst their friends like trading cards. Are they going to sell these homes to tenants? Well, you've already bankrupted the tenants. So they decided on lease-back securities. So Chase, Morgan Chase, well, we always hear about them every week, and the rest of these guys have gotten together and said, we'll start lease-back securities. Well, maybe lease-back securities will work as long as the renters don't default on their leases. Okay, as long as people don't lose their jobs, maybe you will make some money off of these investments. Now, I'll give you one other equity firm that's buying up homes. Well, when you lose your home, you got to put your stuff in storage, right? So you may choose public storage. Well, B. Wayne Hughes, multi-billionaire, has created America's Homes for Rent, along with some of that money from the Alaska Permanent Fund. It's bought up thousands of homes as well. That's just a quick highlight. There's so many others. You wonder why a person off of Section 8 would be concerned about these homes. Well, another investment firm called DeValco Properties down in Florida, 70% of his acquisitions are Section 8 properties. Another firm in Boston bought several hundred properties, and like 85% are for rent assistance for the poor. So this is not just the middle class. It's not just a black thing, a white thing. You know what I'm saying? It's a class thing. The top 1% is looking to get rich. You know what I'm saying? You got Mayor 1% is looking to get rich. So a lot of us are getting screwed. I hate that Dominic's is closed. It's a quick sidebar, because sitting in Dominic's, for several months, you got to see all the functionally homeless people like me who needed the cafe there. It's a shame that Dominic's is gone. Okay, so there are a lot of homeless people out here. You may know them, you may not know them. Some may be functioning, some may be not, But we need to do something about this. We need to create alternative housing initiatives, maybe something like a co-op, maybe other type of community housing programs where people will be allowed to, not have to deal with the stress of a mortgage per se. As many people are dealing with, they talk about the community land banks, but also community land trusts. Number of organizations are talking about that. But if you want to help us out, you can go to GoFundMe, help fight illegal evictions. Just look up Michael Donley. And if you want to donate, you can do it that way. We are taking Blackstone to court for what they did do to us, because it was not fair. You can help us out with expenses there, and also doing research and articles and things like that. But definitely, I appreciate your time. And I know there's a lot to get out, and there's a lot more to talk about with this issue. But I know that I had limited time. But I just want you to understand that housing is a human right, and to continue to fight for that, because it is. And also, to just be aware that when you see that for rent sign, that beautiful blue one, that's Invitation Homes for rent sign, know that Wall Street is looking to be your landlord. And in closing, they did create their own credit bureau with Experian, so they will be looking at your credit report. They did buy Credit Suisse for $600 million. And this is worldwide, because Blackstone is going to be doing the same thing in Spain and elsewhere. So I really appreciate your time. All right. Thank you.